Good Friday evening, everyone. Welcome to Garden State Weather Premium on YouTube, Garden State Weather Forecast, and Garden State Weather on Facebook, and Garden State WX on Twitter. This is a special video forecast discussion talking about our storm system and the impacts here for tomorrow on Saturday. It's going to be a nasty day around here, and we're going to get into it right now. I'm meteorologist Robert Smith on this Friday evening here, the 11th of March, 2022. First thing I want to do is go over the winter storm watches, warnings, and advisories for the area. Everything in blue here from Massachusetts and Concord, New Hampshire here, down into Springfield, Massachusetts here, Hartford, Connecticut, all the way down to Bridgeport, up to 87 here in Kingston, New York. Back into northeastern New Jersey, the lower Hudson Valley, southwestern Long Island here, southwestern Connecticut, northeastern New Jersey, the Newark area, including New York City, and back towards Morris County and Passaic and Bergen counties here. This is for winter weather advisories, and all these advisories extend south now through 78, down through the I-95 corridor and down to Philadelphia, Baltimore. Weather is going to deteriorate rapidly. Winter weather advisories in effect from 9 a.m. here in northeastern New Jersey until 7 tomorrow night. Again, we're expecting snow, with some freezing of wet surfaces. Total snow accumulations of 2 to 4 inches and winds gusting as high as 45 miles an hour. And this is for these portions of northeastern New Jersey from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. tomorrow. Plan on slippery road conditions. Temperatures will fall quickly during the day Saturday, reaching in a quick freezing of any standing water, resulting in difficult travel conditions. As we head further down here into Morris County and Hunterdon and Somerset and Middlesex, for portions of northern New Jersey, southeastern Pennsylvania, and northern Delaware here, a winter weather advisory from 6 o'clock tomorrow morning till 7 p.m. tomorrow evening. Snow expected accumulations of 1 to 3 inches, winds gusting as high as 45 miles an hour. And again, from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. tomorrow, slippery road conditions. Gusty winds could bring down tree branches as well. And finally, if we go into the Philadelphia metro area, this is the same thing, 1 to 3 inches of snow. Up towards Bridgeport in Connecticut here, this is going to be for portions of northeastern New Jersey, northeastern New Jersey, southern Connecticut, and New York. From 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. a winter weather advisory in effect. Snow expected anywhere from 2 to 4 inches, winds gusting as high as 45 miles an hour. Temperatures will again fall quickly during the day Saturday, resulting in quick freezing of any standing water that we're going through now. For this area here in Pennsylvania, this is for the Lehigh Valley areas, the Northampton area, Berks, Warren, Sussex County areas here. This is a winter storm warning from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. tomorrow. Total snow accumulations of 4 to 6 inches, winds gusting as high as 45 miles an hour. And again, from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. tomorrow, travel difficult. Areas of blowing snow could significantly reduce visibility. Gusty winds could also bring down tree branches. For southern Fairfield County here, Hudson, southern Westchester, Manhattan, Bronx, Queens, Staten Island, Orange, and northern Brooklyn here, northern Queens, southern Queens, a winter weather advisory 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Snow expected along with the freezing of wet surfaces. Total snow accumulations again in this area here about 1 to 3 inches, and winds gusting as high as 50 miles per hour. Portions of this area will experience slippery road conditions. Gusty winds could bring down tree branches. Temperatures will fall quickly during the Saturday daytime hours, resulting in a quick freezing from any standing water, resulting in difficult travel conditions. Zooming out down now with temperatures and precipitation, Doppler radar here. This is all snow in here now in the whites here, and this is all rain with thunderstorms here exiting off the southeast coast along this nearly stationary frontal boundary. First wave here out over the ocean. Second waves are forming right here in the Gulf of Louisiana, and it's these areas here that will be infiltrating and lifting up. If we take a look at high pressures off the coast right now, the winds around this high are now out of the southeast, so it's freshening the water vapor content into the atmosphere as the winds are blowing in from off of the ocean now out of a southeast direction. These are the temperatures right now, and these are the temperatures with this disturbance here over southeastern Canada and the Great Lakes here. And these two features are going to merge together and form one heck of a storm here as we get into the day on Saturday. GFS global look here off of earthnunschool.net. We're at the 250 millibar jet stream level here off the GFS, and this is live now. We have three streams. Here's our vortices here from the polar vortex here, just north of Hudson's Bay, Canada here. And we have an Arctic stream here. We have a polar branch here. And here's our subtropical branch. And if you notice, the flow is extremely fast. We're dealing with speeds here probably excelling beyond 225 kilometers per hour here. And if we go into the forecast off the GFS, this is really what it's showing. By the way, very strong high pressure here south of Mexico here. This is a very dynamic situation because we have one lobe here of the polar vortex at the 250 millibar level here. We have east-based but off its rocker NAO signature here north of Greenland. So it's a very fast flow here, and we've got vortices underneath. We've got high pressure over Southern California. A lot of rain today in Texas, Florida, and Texas too. And this is very dynamical here because this shows how this storm is really going to start wrapping up in intensity as we get into tomorrow morning and tomorrow afternoon, especially as these jet structures really tighten up between the southern branch and the polar branch. And right now we're in a neutral state. Slightly positive. This is where we go to neutral state by late tonight, and we can see a big flow between the two branches here up the east coast. So this is very dynamical in a sense, and by the time we get into tomorrow afternoon, the jet structure is now just offshore, and southern New England and this area here, Atlantic Canada, is really getting rocked. Look at all this cold polar flow, and it's just the winds. Let's take a look at the temperatures here at this time. There's some very cold air coming in from a lobe of the polar vortex splitting off and away from its parent here. And again, this is where the storm is going to form under this jet structure here. Precipitable water values here. Well, it's dry now, but it's starting to fill in. It's been very wet here from Louisiana all the way into off the South Carolina coast here. And all of this moisture that you're seeing as the storm becomes neutrally tilted and then evolves here is going to produce a lot of liquid equivalent here right along the eastern coast. And this is where the model guidance comes in handy at this point. And just for giggles and grins here, look at this flow pattern by tomorrow afternoon. Crazy cold air coming in, but it's also going to lift out too, and we got a new west to east flow heading into early next week to warm us up again on a zonal wind. Next thing I want to look at is the vertical velocities in the atmosphere off the European model guidance at 700 millibars tomorrow. Tonight it's calm, but it's increasing, and by tomorrow, Saturday, at about midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, we can see strong vertical lifting over the Tennessee and Mississippi River Valley areas here and off of the northern and central southern mid-Atlantic coast states. And this is where things are going to get rocking and rolling, because as we head into dawn tomorrow, vertical velocities under this flow pattern here are increasing out of the southeast. So this is our northern disturbance, and our southern disturbance is here, and the trough axis here at 700 millibars is going neutrally tilted. And that's where all the lifting is going to start. And then by the time we get into the afternoon hours here, that's where things are going to get crazy. Probably want to look at something here. Hold on. Next up, we'll take a look at the 18Z model guidance every 3 hours here from the European model guidance here. And what we're looking at is the cyclonic vorticity at 500 millibars, or the spin in the atmosphere. And it's where things get interesting, because we have all of this lifting here, and the trough axis here is still positive. But as we get into tomorrow morning and tomorrow afternoon, as this is going neutrally tilted, we have a lot of vorticity going on here over the Delmarva and across northeastern Pennsylvania and northern New Jersey into the Hudson River Valley area. So this tells me that this is strong frontogenetic forcing here until this storm on Saturday afternoon and evening rushes off the coast into southern New England. So there's a lot of dynamics going on here. Off this afternoon's model guidance from the European, 850 millibar temperatures, about 5,000 feet. Everything starts out as rain, but here comes that big push of Arctic air through the region beginning tomorrow morning at around dawn over Pennsylvania and west of the Hudson River Valley area here, and you can see it just bleed through. I think we could probably do get into New Jersey, for example. Okay, let's start out right now. And it's cold, but not really that cold. And then we start to warm up with the rain starting out after midnight tonight. And the 850 millibar temperatures are all above 3, 4, 5 degrees. Here comes the cold air. Notice this. This is a sharp contrast here as we get into tomorrow morning around dawn, where temperatures are above freezing as the precipitation is already falling. And behind this here in Pennsylvania, temperatures at 850 millibars are falling below freezing. And so much so that by 10 a.m. in the morning, the temperatures have already switched around to -2, -3, and even further here. So precipitation is going to rapidly change over here. There's no question. And the cold air at 850 millibars is not going anywhere. It's like, you know, we get down to, let's do, hold on, lower 3,000 feet here. This is where things change, okay? Tomorrow morning, we're above freezing at the surface up to 3,000 feet. And then rapidly, within an hour or two, temperatures drop off from 5 to -5. And then further into the afternoon to -8 and -9 as we head into tomorrow night. So there's a big change, about 10-degree drop here. And that's at that level. At 850 millibars, it's crazy. We go from above with rain and then rapid changeover. And where the precipitation is going to be tomorrow afternoon is probably going to be further east at this point. But you get the idea that during this period, from Saturday morning into Saturday afternoon, there's going to be a strong frontogenetic band where heavy lifting is going to occur, stretching in the atmosphere, and that's going to cause the precipitation rates to increase and change over to snow at 1 to 2 inches per hour to overwhelm power lines, grassy surfaces, trees, concrete, cars, and roadways too. Describing how this storm is going to evolve from spring today into a winter pattern tomorrow, we have to look at the mean sea level pressure here, the mean members here, and we're looking at the EPS, which is a conglomeration of all the ensemble members here in the guidance. And as we get into Saturday, late tonight, early tomorrow morning, clustering here of 1,003 millibars over the southeastern states. And as we move through, a clustering now centered off the Delmarva down into the Carolinas here at 995 millibars. And then we move this forward, and it's bombogenesis at 984 millibars off the southern New England coast by tomorrow afternoon. So this is a quick moving storm under the flow that we're discussing, but it does mean problems for sure. Back down to the mesoscale here now in the NAM model guidance off the 18Z run here over the New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, northeastern corridor here. This is where precipitation starts to break out as rain on that southeast flow from off the ocean from the first disturbance here, and then the amalgamation. And the rain just starts filling in here tomorrow morning at about 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. That's when things are really going to start breaking out as the jet structures begin to tighten up. And let's go back for a second here. So we're starting out with all rain, okay? And some of this is going to be a little bit more pungent than others in certain areas. And as we get through the morning hours here by 10 a.m., the rain is now through Yonkers and New York City, just getting into the city, the coastline here down to Trenton. Notice this line in here. This is a changeover to sleet. And then in the blues here, a changeover to rain. So, and this is like kind of like bright banding. So let's do a sounding here in this area. And it's showing the temperature profile here. This is a sleet sounding. Okay, so moving on, let's see if we can move on here and get back to where we were. The sleet is just going to progress into the city, okay, and into northeastern New Jersey, and everything else behind it is snow, okay, in the blues here. And the brighter colors that you're seeing here is an indication of where frontogenetic forcing is going to be, and we'll get into that in just a moment. So by 12 noon tomorrow afternoon, across northeastern New Jersey into the New York City area, this is a snow profile. Okay, temperatures aloft are very warm. They cool rapidly here at 850 millibars down to 925 millibars, and then they just go into the tank here. So, you know, this is an indication of snow, and snow ratios are going to vary. We'll get into that in a moment. Just want to show that. And everybody's going to see snow before this exits here off the coast by 6 p.m. The thing that worries me the most in this is this. When I start seeing this, I start seeing bright banding on the radar. That's going to show up tomorrow on radar. This is simulated reflectivity Doppler from NAM, but this shows me here in the darker colors and the brighter colors here, precipitation could be falling at a rapid rate of 1 to 2 inches per hour in terms of like snowfall. So that can overwhelm the ground. And when we get into snow totals here, this is going to be off a little bit. Okay, this is definitely going to be off on the NAM because we're going from above normal temperatures to below normal temperatures. So, you know, this is based on a 10-to-1 ratio. So I'm not expecting this, but I am expecting very high snow totals in this area here, and then up and through here. What happens south of 280 and along 280, south and east of 287 here, down through Trenton, I don't know. I don't think that I can actually buy this. So, you know, the National Blend of Models puts it this way, and there is a striping here in northeastern New Jersey, central northwestern Morris County here, through Bridgewater here. This looks good. You know, the city could see 1 to 2 inches of snow out of this too. It's slushy, 8-to-1 7-to-1 snow ratio out of this. Biggest thing is the FRAM, and that is the ice accumulation here. Another thing that's interesting today is that we really had springtime here with temperatures in the 50s, well above normal for this time of the year. The normals are about 50. So we've reached well into the 50s and 60s, and now with the wind coming in off the ocean, temperatures are falling back into the 40s across the region. That's pretty interesting as well. Dynamical cooling of the atmosphere will occur tomorrow as well, and we'll get into the frontogenetic forcing in just a moment. Going back and looking at the national blend of models here, which is a conglomeration of all the models, this is where things are changing. So as we get into 1 a.m. on Saturday, temperatures are already falling off into the 40s now, and they will continue to fall off into the 40s. Let's see if this has been refreshed. No, this is the current one, so that's good. All right, so here we go. And by 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, so surface temperatures, this is the surface temperatures here. 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, they're above freezing. Everything is good. But in the atmosphere aloft, it's already cooling and the precipitation is already changing over to snow across northeastern Pennsylvania, Middletown, New York, Poughkeepsie, Bridgewater. And it's a matter of how fast the changeover and how dynamically cooled the atmosphere becomes, and how much frontogenetic forcing, how much lifting in the atmosphere, how much vertical velocity and spin in the atmosphere that we have here to create, you know, a snowtober kind of event here with precipitation freezing on power lines and tree limbs and that kind of thing, and the rate of fall, which is already going to increase with frontogenetic forcing and thermodynamic cooling such as this. So by 11 a.m., it's cooling down along the coast and in the city with precipitation. Obviously, that's dynamical cooling. And then dynamical cooling continues to the north and west as the precipitation gets out of here and slowly. And let me tell you something, it's really going to get cold around here on Sunday morning. Saturday night and Sunday morning, it's going to get down into the teens and low and mid 20s around here on Sunday morning at 1 a.m. Yeah, and that's just a 2-meter temperature. So let's take a look at the wind gust here at 10 meters above the ground. Winds are going to freshen up really rapidly here, and there's going to be a break between this tomorrow morning as the storm centers begin to amalgamate together. And once the storm gets going here, once it fully begins to phase between northern and southern stream shortwaves here, that's where the wind gusts are going to get really important here, because we're talking about wind gusts here, you know, in the 10 to 20 mile per hour range. And then as we get into the afternoon, it's just going to increase, especially towards evening and overnight. So any kind of wind and frozen precipitation, or precipitation that's changing over into frozen precipitation, that is on trees, power lines, or anything like that, is going to bring down the trees and the power lines. So power outages are going to be probable under this domain. HRR model guidance, again, this is a 10-to-1 ratio of snow, so we're going to have to pull these numbers down a little bit because we'll be in a changing atmosphere, dynamically cooling the atmosphere as well as raising the bar on precipitation type, precipitation intensity during this time frame, but also at the surface, we're cooling the surface at the same time. So this is a 10-to-1 ratio, and these numbers here don't look correct because this is a 10-to-1 ratio. You have to bring these numbers down just a little bit, and that's why I like using the national blend of models. Now, again, can you still, at the higher elevations here where everything is cooling faster at above, you know, 1,000 feet, 850 feet, Yeah, you can. So in northwestern New Jersey, and that's the reason why all of these advisories have been placed into effect. It's going to be a sloppy mess out there tomorrow. This here off the NAM model guidance, 850 millibar winds in knots. Southwest here into New York City, the lower Hudson Valley area, Connecticut. It's shifting around to the west here, and then the northwest here along the Arctic boundary here tomorrow morning. So, again, this is a very fast-moving, dynamical situation here, and it's going to prove itself. It will. The one thing is that, the ground is very warm, and it can, accumulate snow very rapidly, but it's going to be one of those slushy situations. Looking at the NAM model guidance, temperatures again at 925 millibars, 3,000 feet down. As we head into tomorrow morning past dawn, into the early afternoon hours, this is another indication to me of water that's changed into snow and sleet, and then eventually it's, going to freeze. And at the surface, it's going to freeze too. But aloft in the trees and everything else is just going to be covered in like ice. I see this, with power outages. Yes, I do. And accidents as well, unfortunately. You better be mindful tomorrow, and you better make sure you have a full tank of gas and a backup supply in your car if you're traveling tomorrow, because this situation here tells me the tale of a big troubling public out there on the roadways tomorrow. And finally, if you're thinking so kind that it's spring today, well, that's going to change. And these are the real feel surface temperatures, okay, coming in tomorrow. 7 a.m., they feel like 42 in New York City, 21 in Scranton, Pennsylvania. And the temperatures are just going to plummet. These are the real feels by 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. So you start out in the 40s here, okay, with the precipitation changing over from snow to rain north to south, okay, northwest to southeast here. And as the precipitation is changing over in the morning on Saturday at 10 a.m., temperatures already feel like below freezing in the New York City area, and well below freezing north and west here. So you get the picture here. This thing going to be a pretty day here. By 5 p.m. tomorrow, it's going to feel like 8 in New York City, where it started off today feeling like 47. Okay, that's a big change. That is a big change in the air mass that's overhead. And on Saturday evening, again, 8 in New York City, that's what it's going to feel like. It's going to feel colder to the north and to the west. And in New York City, Yonkers, 5-6 degrees above zero, 9 p.m. on Saturday, and getting down to like the single digits to below zero. That's the real field temperatures here. It's no laughing joke, actually.